Now we're at DeVoe Street right now, and that has been cleared as we speak. We've already opened up Bay Street, where there was major flooding near the VIP restaurant, and that is now flowing as it stands. So we're getting ready to cover that in the next couple hours.
And when you talk about drainage, are we talking about water and not wastewater?
No, we're talking about rainwater, storm water, not sewer water.
Storm remediation,
Yes.
flooding remediation.
Yes, sir. Flooding and storm remediation. Now, once we've completed, it would be a travesty on our part to go ahead and overlay and pave and then having to come back and dig up. That's counterproductive. So we're working in concert with our BAMEX as we're advancing the work in terms of putting in the requisite drainage infrastructure to restore positive drainage flow in this area, and then the area will be paved.
The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we're working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against the
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing. It's good to see all of you as usual, and I hope it's the start of a great day for everyone. Well, we have a lot to get to this morning, including an overview of 3 events set to take place within the next 2 weeks, 2 of them within this week. We're very pleased to be joined by the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Mr. Jomo Campbell, whose ministry will be hosting the Agri-Business Expo 2024 this week. Now, this expo is returning to the circuit after a 5-year hiatus. And of course, the goal is to connect business persons with farmers and fishermen, I should say, with business interests that will help them to expand their business. And of course, the overall goal is to lessen the import bill and increase food security for Bahamians. Also joining us this morning is the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clayton Fernander. The police, as you know, have been very aggressive in the fight against crime and using technology to do so. This morning he joins us with some of the latest crime statistics which reflect many of the gains police have made certainly this year. So he will give us some details of that. The police, of course, just coming off a very successful expo showing off the technology that they're using and the results they're getting as a result. Still on the issue of crime, we'll also hear from the Financial Intelligence Unit, which is this week hosting a forum for money laundering reporting officers. Mr. Emmerich Seymour is director of the unit. He will explain some of the objectives of that forum taking place this week. And we are nearing the 2-week mark now for the IAAF World Relays, one of the most exciting events on the track. I think I was at the track when the Bahamas first hosted the first edition of the World Relays. And now for the 3rd time, I believe, we are hosting these relays, which are, of course, an Olympic qualifier. We're chasing the sun. And I see my former co-anchor, Chris Saunders, at the back there. He's part of the promotion of these games. And of course, I love that theme because it speaks to not only the importance of this event, but the fact that we get to showcase the Bahamas, which is something that we love to do. But we will get things started now with the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Minister Jomo Campbell. Minister.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I am thrilled to give you a brief preview of this weekend's Agri Business Expo that kicks off tomorrow at the Gladstone Road Agriculture Development Center, GRAC. As you would note, the Agri Expo is an explosion of foodology, taking you on a journey from when our food first comes from the ground or ocean to all of the smells, tastes, and textures of the food that we produce and eat. We will also have handicraft experts, artisans, who will display all of their creative and dynamic work. And I am particularly proud to say that the interest in this year's Agri Expo has been extremely high, as we have been able to secure 70 vendors for this two-day expo. Now, patrons can expect to have a lot to do on Friday and Saturday. In spite of the food, tasting, and culinary dishes that will be provided, there is also going to be an educational empowerment lecture session, 2 days of dynamic topics. And here's what we can expect throughout this weekend. On Friday, we will have a series on the importance of food safety and plant health in agriculture, lectures on climate change and food security, good agricultural practices, and also on how to start a cooperative, just to name a few. On Saturday, we will have a lecture series on poultry production and the long-awaited Golden Yolk program. In addition to that, we will also be discussing soil health, roots and tubers such as sweet potatoes, cassava, and all of our local favorites. We will also be discussing the pineapple project that is ongoing in Eleuthera, backyard farming, and agribusiness as a whole. All of the times of these series will be posted at a later date on our ministry's Facebook page, along with other pertinent information. Now, when you are learning about food, you can taste it through the culinary demos and competitions that will be had. We have exciting competitions planned, such as pineapple, watermelon, and yes, Commissioner, even an aloe eating competition. And I'm sure everyone is looking forward to that. That's right, aloes. We will also have demonstrations, including the manufacturing of locally made Bahamian yogurt. We do that in the Bahamas. Making of our famous pepper sauces, jams and jellies, and again, as I said, the use of sweet potatoes and butternut squash for some of those famous soups that we all like to have, especially in these seasons of cold fronts that we are now experiencing. Additionally, I am definitely looking forward to the culinary showdowns, such as the one between chefs and their use of the tilapia, and the much anticipated Battle of the Islands, where home cooks representing their home islands will face off in a sizzling culinary competition. Will it be Andres or Abaco? Will it be Eleuthera or Exuma? I think I'm hearing someone saying San Salvador. Now, as parents, we always wonder whether this is something we can bring our children to. You know, what do we do with them when we're out? Well, I'm saying to one and all, bring your children. To make things exciting for the children, we will be having a kiddie corner that will feature a petting zoo, free cotton candy and popcorn, and even rides for the kids. This Agri Expo is a chance for Bahamians to learn more about the food we produce and eat, and possibilities that we have yet to explore here in the Bahamas. Not only will you have your famous farmers to interact with, but also fishermen as well. After coming out of the Easter period, I'm sure we still have their numbers on speed dial. And we are sure that this Agri Expo is going to be the best one yet. and will serve as a springboard for all the spectacular ones to come in the future. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., we hope, schedule permitting, that our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Philip Davis, will open this fantastic event, and that a number of schools will be given their donations towards their agriculture programs. Thereafter, the public will be invited to explore all of the wonderful opportunities that this event has in store. And I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
So good morning. Shifting gears just a bit, now we know that medical cannabis bill is set to be tabled soon, and while it does fall under mostly Dr. Darble and his ministry, would have mentioned that land, you're looking to allocate land for the growing of this plant, should it pass. Is that still on the table?
That certainly is indeed. The short answer is yes, that is certainly indeed on the table. Conversations will be had again between myself and the Attorney General and Dr. Darble in the short future. We're expecting perhaps even before the end of this week, because that is something that is moving rapidly. But even as we move rapidly, we do so cautiously. And so, yes, the short answer to that is yes.
Sorry.
Oh, and to piggyback, yesterday we would have spoken with the president of the Pharmaceutical Association, and they expressed concern that they do support the medicinal marijuana. However, they were expressing concerns about the dispensary, and they were suggesting that the legislation may leave some gray areas. As my colleague would have noted, it primarily falls under the Minister of Health, but in your position from the Agriculture Minister, you have any response to that?
Not at this moment. Again, the Attorney General, and I wouldn't want to preempt anything that will come out of our conversations between today and tomorrow, but the Attorney General is expected to expand on that a bit more. That definitely did come up after the article was circulated and put into the wider public yesterday, but you will hear more from that from the Attorney General's standpoint in short order.
I just wanted to ask, are you seeing more interest in farming as you get more information out there, and is it shifting to younger people now as opposed to older people?
Well, the answer to that question is an astounding yes. Last week there was an excellent show held at the Ministry of Education, where there were a number of schools showcasing the wonderful talent we have here in the Bahamas. There were schools that produce fresh pork. I was able to personally buy curry powder, ginger jam, different sauces, and it really shows that agriculture is Bahamian culture. I, in my short time here on earth, can remember that almost every household had a bird pepper tree in the back of their yard, and we didn't go to the store to buy lemons to make lemonade. We picked them. And we would know exactly what time of year it is due to the fruits that are coming out. We see the mangoes coming out right now. And we know that nutrition is provided by nature for every particular time of year. But to see the interest in the young children, especially as they get to put their hands in the soil, for some of them to understand that agriculture just isn't a straw hat and cutlass anymore. It's a job, it's processing, it's canning, it's distribution, it's pasteurizing. And to have someone ask me, Mr. Campbell, why can't we make our own butter if we have cows? Why do we send to Ireland? And so just to get that seed in the minds of our young children shows that the future is very bright for agriculture. And that's why so much emphasis was placed on ensuring that the schools have what they need for their backyard farming programs, for their greenhouses, because we want them to understand agriculture touches every aspect of life. We indeed are what we eat. In order for our athletes to perform at their optimum at the relays that will be coming up, we'd be expecting for them to be eating some fresh cassava, some yam straight from the ground, and so on and so forth. In order for our students to perform at their optimum in school, we want them to know that they're having hearty, healthy breakfast with seasonal fresh fruits. And you know, when we see the fruit coming out of the ground and we pick it, we know where it comes from. We know what went into it. We know that it wasn't sitting somewhere in a container for weeks with some chemical to preserve it and make it look ripe and shiny for us. And so to see this inspiration in the youth, it means that agriculture certainly has a bright future here in the Bahamas. All right, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Campbell. We'd now like to welcome the Police Commissioner, Mr. Clayton Fernando, with some of the latest statistics and gains the police have made. Commissioner?
Good morning to all, and thank you very much, members of the press. Good morning to you as well. It's a pleasure to be able to bring the Bahamian people up to date as to the state of crime at this time. Overnight, 24 hours, we had two serious crime matters, one being a homicide, which occurred around 11 p.m. last evening. There were one single shot heard in the area of Cowpen Road and Oxford Avenue. Residents came out and discovered the lifeless body of a male lying on the side of the street with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the body. EMS responded and discovered that he had died. We don't have an identification on this individual at this time, but we know it's a male, appeared to be in his late 20s, maybe early 30s, have dreadlocks, and we are appealing to members of the public who may have some loved one missing to please coming to any police station to give whatever information. We suspect that he was shot in a vehicle and was thrown from that vehicle after he was shot. We have officers on the ground as we speak, canvassing the area, communicating with persons living in that area, and also with a view of trying to collect any footage from maybe private home or business establishment and to check our CCTV cameras that are placed in that area. So we are appealing to members of the public who live in that area to please any information to come forward. There was also a sexual offense matter that happened after 11, who was on duty at the time. She was approached by two males, one armed with a knife and the other a firearm, continuing their investigation with a view of trying to bring some speedy closure to this matter. At this time, the homicide count stands at 38 compared to 30 last year. When you look at the armed robbery, the question was asked earlier this week if we're seeing an uptick with respect to armed robbery. When you look at the statistic this far for the year, armed robbery is down. We have a total of 69 matters reported compared to 120 that occurred last year. The trend that we noted with that 69 matters, vehicles are being taken, either persons pulling up at their residence, they are parked on the beach, and then you have some business establishment that were held up and robbed. We continue to say to members of the public to adhere to our safety tips. When you're pulling up home, to be aware of your surroundings. Try to call somebody if you're coming home late at night. Even at daytime, if somebody is home, you should let them know that you're on the way home. Take note of your neighbors' vehicle, what they drive, who comes around, that when you arrive, you could look around to see if you see any strange vehicle that you don't see on a daily basis or on a regular occasion. Take note of that. So again, be aware of your surroundings, ensure that your homes are well lit, and we are talking about CCTV cameras now. Try your best to invest in some security features. Please try to do just that. We note that a number of vehicles, the vehicles of choice that are being targeted are the Japanese vehicles. You're talking about the Cubes, you're talking about the March vehicle, the Note. They are vehicles that are being targeted. And we also note a trend that all of the serious crimes that are being committed and where vehicles are seen, every crime report you will hear a Note, a Cube leaving the scene. We know that a number of persons are purchasing these Japanese vehicles and they are renting it without being regulated or to get SD plates, and they are just renting it to individuals. And what they are doing, no identification are being presented to them, and the persons renting the vehicle are changing the plate and go and commit crime. We have seen that, we have identified some matters like that, and again, we are saying to members of the public, and we're going to crack down on that. We're working closely with road traffic to see all of the vehicles that are registered. We believe that some of them are not even insured to be on the road. And we are going to see an aggressive approach in the coming days to focus on that. So we are sending a stern warning to persons who are in that position to get it right, because we are coming for you. It's the procedures and there's laws that you have to govern, and we will ensure that we enforce the law as we always do. With respect to firearms, we know that firearms is the weapon of choice in these matters, and we always say it's the high-powered rifle. Thus far for the year, we have taken a total of 115 weapons, over 7,000 rounds of ammunition, compared to last year at this very time was 90. So we are ahead of the game with respect to seizure and arrest. 90 persons were put before the court. And I must commend the officers out there, day in, night out, aggressively going at these individuals, intelligence-led, in bringing and arresting these individuals with firearms. The trend, again, is the couriers, and we had great success working with our U.S. partners of trying to disrupt what is going on with respect to the firearms. The courts, the matters are going quickly. We spoke about the 2 to 3 weeks turnaround. It's working for us. Now, the penalty, I always had a problem with the penalty. It has to fit the crime. We know that firearm, and this is what is driving a lot of this, the murders, the homicides, and even in the armed robberies. You get fined with a weapon. I'm looking at 10, 15 years easy. If you look at the laws in the countries within the region, you see it some, I think I'm 25, once convicted, 25 years. It have to be a deterrent. 2 or 3 years is not enough. They will tell you that, I will stand up in prison for that 2, 3 years. And I believe that is a deterrent to discourage individuals who are found in possession of these weapons and using it in the commission of a crime to kill our people. I was a victim, I always say that. And we sometimes forget about the victims, but you have some victims out there who are hurting, and you have families out there who have lost loved ones, and persons are still walking around out there. So that penalty have to fit the crime, and I will support that to the very end until we fix it. With respect to the fire that is in Andros. I was in communication from day one with the commander on the island, Chief Superintendent Stiles, also the Member of Parliament from that area, Mr. Lightburn. We have sent additional firefighters down there. We know that there's only one fire truck on the island that just carried just about 500 tons of water, gallons, which is not enough. I give some instructions last evening. The 2,000 gallons water truck was placed on the mail boat yesterday evening. It arrived in Andros this morning around 1 a.m. and the officers were there to receive it and went right away at work with respect to that containing that fire. It's under control. There is no structure or no homes or business establishment. There's no threat to any of the homes or business establishment. The only thing is the smoke. What has happened, the 500 gallons, as the officers outed, they have to go so far to refill and time they're back. The fires are ablaze and spreading. So that 2,000 gallon will be able to assist in a big way. So I want to commend the officers on the ground. The residents from all settlement came together. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gents. Partnering and to make sure that your community is safe. So I want to commend the officers and the people in the community. The Defense Force, we are for good measure. We are sending some officers. I just communicated with the Commodore early this morning. There are a few officers from Defense Force. They should be on the ground at this very moment. So between now, only the smoke now, it's really through the community, and that poses a little challenge. You have to remember we have some elderly people in the community, try to keep them safe, and even the kids with school and all of that, to try to keep them safe. So again, I want to commend everybody who is involved in trying to distinguish that fire. I also wish to highlight the monitoring company, which has been identified to take over the new company. That process is going very smoothly. It started about 2 weeks ago. We have already started from the Southern Island, come right down, the changeover, and that is going well. The old company, Microfill, and the last company, they are working closely together to ensure a smooth transition. So that is going well. And I just will want to conclude the technical expo. Wow, what an amazing setup and amazing world class. And you had thousands of Bahamian people, business owners, from the judiciary system, across all walks of life. People walked in and viewed it and pretty much give the police force an A+ for a well-deserved expo. And that brings it right home with the fight against crime with respect to technology. And what you saw on display is millions of dollars value in that. And that is being manned by our very own officers with that talent. No one from outside is managing that. And I'm talking about even maintenance of the equipment. So I must commend my officers again and the entire team for a job well done. A number of students from various private and government schools came through. We know that there's going to be a large graduation across the board. And after some of those students viewed that technical equipment, they said, some wanted to be a lawyer, some wanted to be a doctor. They said, no, man, I want to be a police officer. They want to be a police officer. So we welcome you. You know, the young people today, they are well tech savvy, and we support them in that. And we need every hands on deck. And as we say, and the watchword now that the police force always say, we cannot do it alone. It has to be a partnership. And every individual open their mouth now and talk about crime is partnership. The same way it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a whole community to come together to win this war on crime. So I want to thank the members of the public for their continued support and to let you know that your Royal Bahamas Police Force have you covered. Thank you so much.
You said additional fire trucks or firefighters were sent to Islands. How much was that exactly? How much was the figure?
From my area, I sent a total of 6, including the fire chief. And then the defense force, they sent early this morning, I think about almost the same thing, about 8 or maybe even more. And Mr. Russell from NEMA and his crew, some of his people are also on the ground.
Can you talk about the transition period or the transition between the old ankle monitoring company, Metro Security, to Microfil? Can you tell me what that transition includes? And does that mean people that are being monitored on bail, they would have to switch the lock bracelet? How is that going?
Yeah, that is, as I said, is going well. What it is, Metro, they take the lead, and their responsibility is to reach out to the wearers. The wearers is the persons who are being monitored, and they will reach them. There's a location identified based on the area that they live in. And again, we want to thank the churches, because we are using even some of the church halls in different areas. Just say Camp Road. Everyone who lives in that area from Camp Road who is being monitored, we give them a time to go there. And then both teams will meet them there, and that's the switchover. The Family of Islands, we traveled there. We used the resources we have, our police plane, and we started from the south. Well, the islands are very small, not much individuals are being monitored on the various family islands, but we started from the southern area and came right down. So that is going smoothly.
How many people have already been able to swap in their bracelets?
We have a total of close to 100, over 40, 50, somewhere around there thus far.
And how many people have been reached out this far?
We have a total of just little over 600 persons that are outfitted with the monitor, and that's what the grounds that we have to cover.
Commissioner Wadley, have you heard, is there any update into the plans of rape by those 2 tourists in Grand Bahama? Is there any update into that investigation?
Shortly, we will be able to bring the members of the public up to date. We are still in communication with our AG office and our investigative team.
But as a follow-up question, so has it been classified as rape? Yes, yeah. What has it been classified as?
Yes, yeah. We has been, when we say rape, we know a sexual offense had been taken based on the evidence that we have thus far. Something happened. But I'm not saying that at the end of the day it's rape, but we know some sexual act occurred.
So what would be the penalty? What would be the penalty if a false allegation, I guess, were made in this matter?
Well, we will have to view the facts, what is before us, and if it's the evidence is pointing that there was a malicious complaint, then we will take action. If there's evidence for a charge at the end of the day, then we will lay the charge.
Just a question. We talk about the expo. A lawyer, I think he was there, he spoke to the press, and he raised concerns about some of the technology. And he said the law does not permit the new facial recognition or drone that drone has, the police force is introducing. And he said that the police access does not facilitate these use of the technology. What do you say to those concerns? Because, you know, observing the technology I
The
saw.
defense will always find a way, to rig us. But we have our legal team on board, and we will be in the frame of the law whenever we are.
We were there, and you know, I'm not going to say too much to ruin the expo, but you know, I could see how even the general public could feel like some of these technology is a violation. It could be cause of over policing.
I don't see it, and I don't support you with that. Okay, I don't see it, and I don't support you with that. It is a great tool all over the world, and once it is within the law, we will do just that. Any other question? Thank you so much.
Well, I say it every chance I get. The police are our friends. So good to have you as always, except when you have to be unfriendly, which we know is also the case when dealing with the criminal element. Well, we're going to switch gears now to another element of crime, financial crime, and the Financial Intelligence Unit, which Mr. Emerick Seymour of the Royal Bahamas Police Force formerly has oversight of. He is hosting a forum this week to further some of the strategies of the unit. I invite him now to give us the details and some objectives of that forum.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, Commissioner of Police, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, and then my wider Bahamian community, a pleasant good morning. Every time I hear the police talk, you know, it's like, I told the commissioner at the expo the other day, I'm ready to come back to work. Yeah, I think I am, you know, it's in your blood, you just can't get it, you know. So I fully support what the police is doing, not because I'm still a police officer, but of course, I've been there, I've been in the trenches with them, so I know, and so I want to commend the commissioner and his team for an excellent job with the symposium. Well, safe. It's my esteemed privilege and what we're all about, because I'm frequently approached by individuals asking, what is the FIU? What do you do? What is the FIU? The agency is charged with responsibility of receiving, analyzing, obtaining, and disseminating of information pertinent or potentially associated with the proceeds of crime as delineated in both the Proceeds of Crime Act 2018 and the Anti-Terrorism Act 2018. The initial Act 2000 has recently been repealed and replaced by the FIU's Act 2023 as recently as December 23. And so with the new act now in place, it gives the FIU more leverage, teeth, if you please, in the fulfillment of its statutory obligations and mandate. I stand before you this morning as the 6th director of this vital agency since its inception some 24 years ago. Our mission is to proactively network with local law enforcement, regulators, and other local stakeholders and international counterparts to effectively assist in detecting, assessing, and eradicating the threats of money laundering and financial terrorism to the global economy. As a leader in the financial intelligence security in the Bahamas, the FIU's defined vision is to have a robust, dynamic, exemplary financial service industry free from the scourge of money laundering, terrorist financing, frauds, and other criminal conduct. The FIU is a vital member of the Egmont Group, which is a global organization comprising 174 FIUs worldwide, which are dedicated to the anti-money laundering and the combating of financing terrorism efforts. The Bahamas FIU became the 54th member of this important group, having been incorporated in 2001. Membership in this group enables the FIU access to information from 174 plus participating countries as necessary via the Egmont Secure Communication Platform, thereby significantly enhancing the reach and the fulfillment of the FIU's mandate. The vision of the FIU Bahamas can be summed up in 3 key strategic points. 1, strengthening regulatory compliance. The FIU is communicated to the enforcement of anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism efforts to ensure that the financial integrity of the Bahamas is upheld. And in so doing, it's critically important to ensure that we adhere to international standards as laid down by the FATF and associated global bodies. We are committed to implement risk-based supervision to focus our resources where they are needed most, continuously updating our regulations to stay in compliance with international standards. We are committed to collaborating on joint initiatives. You heard the Commission talk about collaboration and cooperation. Collaborate on joint initiatives to identify and mitigate emerging trends and threats. Establish regular forums to dialogue and feedback with industry partners. Training is critically essential to stay abreast of the ever-changing current trends in the financial arena. As a result of this, FIU affords the staff the opportunity to take full advantage of necessary local, regional, and international training initiatives to ensure that they are retooled and equipped for their assigned tasks and assignments. Therefore, it also provides anti-money laundering training annually to financial institutions, regulated industry partners, entities, and other appropriate stakeholders, which is a statutory requirement for them in this arena. A second pillar, enhancing public-private partnerships. FIU is cognizant that it is unable to obtain any meaningful degree of success without the full support and participation of all supporting partners, financial institutions, law enforcement, regulators, and other stakeholders, which is key to the overall objective in this fight. Financial institution and other industry partners. Also, the promotion of information sharing with partners and relevant stakeholders, and this is done through regular meetings, law enforcement agencies, regulators, and stakeholders. I pause here to say that the police and the FIU and the police are joined to the hips, because when FIUs have an obligation under law to report any financial transaction within their respective entities to the FIU. The FIU then has the obligation to analyze that information and, where necessary, if they find some act of criminality, refer it to the police for further investigation. And so there are regular meetings held by the FIU and the police. As a matter of fact, weekly meetings held by FIU and the police to ensure that we strengthen this process and relationship. FIU is committed to keeping members of the public abreast of identified trends and risks in accordance with our statutory requirements. So wherever we see trends risk that may impact members of the public, we have an obligation under law to identify. And how do we do it? We send it by way of public service announcements to print and local media, so the members of the public will be aware and the financial institution will be aware of the things we say and to safeguard themselves against these impending threats. Our third and final pillar is embracing technological advancement. We recognize the significance of embracing technology and the technological advancement. The world of finance is rapidly changing and evolving, and we must leverage tools and methodologies to stay on the cutting edge. And so the FIU has embarked on a successful upgrade of its network system during 2019. And that upgrade allowed the FIU to function more efficiently and effectively in its mandate. It enhanced all of the FIU's abilities to identify suspicious financial activities more rapidly. Industry partners can now file their reports electronically via the FIU Secure Communication Platform, which is called Case Connect. Today, the FIU now operates in a fully digitized environment. We are committed to investing in innovative data, analytical, and artificial intelligence tools to ensure we remain on the cutting edge of financial innovation. I pause here just to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to the hardworking, dedicated, and extremely committed staff of FIU who continue to demonstrate skillful and relentless resolve in the daily discharge of the various duties and responsibilities. They are predominantly young, intelligent, extremely talented Bahamian whom I have the distinct pleasure of leading at this time and who's doing a commendable job in the fulfillment of the FIU's mandate. I wish to take this opportunity and use this forum to publicly thank them personally for the excellent job they continue to do for and on behalf of the Bahamian people. In conclusion, the FIU remains steadfast in its commitment to global standards, strengthening processes to prevent financial crimes, and leveraging technology to enhance our capabilities. I cannot emphasize the critical importance of the collective and cooperative efforts among relevant stakeholders in this arena to safeguard our jurisdiction. The financial industry of the Bahamas is the second largest or number one tourism industry, and we must protect it at all costs from those elements seeking to take advantage of it for illegitimate means. The FIU Bahamas, in conjunction with all relevant stakeholders, are committed to doing just that. We are committed to a stronger, more resilient, and technologically advanced ecosystem for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so in keeping with our key points of strategy, enhancing public-private partnerships, I'm pleased to announce that under the theme, Networking to Achieve More in 2024, the Financial Intelligence Unit will be holding its third annual MLRO Forum this coming Friday, tomorrow, on 12th, commencing at 9 a.m. at the University of the Bahamas Performing Arts Center, University Drive. The theme encapsulates our shared goal and enhance collaboration, sharing insights, and collectively bolstering our efforts to combat financial crimes, money laundering, and terrorism financing, among others. The forum serves as a platform for MLROs, compliance officers, and industry partners to engage in candid discussions on the financial integrity of our jurisdiction, while at the same time provide the opportunity to exchange initiatives, contribute to the vital information sharing, and collective strengthening of our defenses against financial crimes. The forum will be addressed and officially declared open by the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Honorable Philip Davis, under whose portfolio the FIU falls, after which we will commence the business of the forum. We are expecting a full participation from our MLROs, DROs, compliance officers, law enforcement regulators, and other industry partners, as together we seek to strengthen and enhance the financial ecosystem of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And with that, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
The judicial office of FI trends and such. Is there any scams that you've seen this far and you want to warn the public about?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have been noticing incidents of fraud that we have in fact warned the members of the public about. I indicated that we are mandated by law to advise members of the public, and we've been doing so. I'm holding in my hand a public notice which was sent out to members of the public, and of course, it's on our website as well, advising members of the public incidents of fraud and other criminal acts that we would have seen, and to advise them how to protect themselves. And so fraud remains one of the overarching incidents we've been seeing, and so we've been advising members of the public, keeping them updated on those incidents and how to protect themselves.
You mentioned technology, et cetera. What kind of involvement would the FIU have had in things like FTX and recently RWAC-X? How did you guys play a role in that?
Well, as indicated, any such act, she shared with the FIU. The FIU analyzed the situation, as we did in the case of FTX, and all that information, once we would have completed our analytical process, that matters then referred to the police department, which is what we did in this particular case. So we had a role to play in that as well.
Narcotics as well?
I think we got some report that we are still analyzing with concerning the Iraq X, yes. Yeah, we have some information on that we're dealing with. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seymour. We will now turn to one of the biggest sporting events to take place in the world of track and field, which happens to be, will be hosted right here in the Bahamas for the third time, the World Relays, which of course, as we've mentioned, is an Olympic qualifier and an overall promotion for the islands of the Bahamas. I'll invite now Mr. Dramico Archer to address us on the progress and preparations for the World Relays, which take place in just over 2 weeks here in Nassau. Mr. Archer.
Good morning. How's everyone? I don't know if you guys would remember, but I think it may have been in 2018 when the previous government didn't think it necessary to underwrite the cost of hosting this event. And I believe that it may have been a punch in the gut for many Bahamians complaining about why we can't bring the World Relays back. And I think what it did was it really created a consciousness of not just how large of a movement we have in track and field, but also it is a staple event that underscores our commitment to not only sport, but also the development of a community that is proud to be Bahamian. And so this government has made it a part of its mandate to see the return of the World Relays. And I'm happy to say and report that the World Relays is back, and I'm looking at Chief Superintendent Skippings, who is the family of the sport. Did you buy your tickets? Emmerich, I see you laughing. Did you buy your tickets? Not yet. And my good friend said he will run, but you got to buy a ticket if you want to run, right? It's coming. And of course, Sanderville has already given his commitment to purchasing 100 tickets, right? So I think that this is a wonderful opportunity once again for the country to really be fully engaged. This is a product of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. And I think when you look at what we have put together as an expose, it's more than just track and field. It's the celebration of our youth, the celebration of sport, and a presentation of Bahamian culture. This event is set to create a stage where we will be featuring Junkanoo as a part of the celebration. And beyond the scope and ambit of Junkanoo, we are intending to create a parallel between not only sports, but also entertainment and Bahamian entertainment. And so what you will find is a concert-style event that allows Bahamians to not just follow track and field. I think that someone brought to my attention yesterday the pronouncement of Lord Sebastian Coe's commitment to providing funding to all gold medalists at the Olympic Games. This is the first time in history when athletes will receive monetary return for competing at the Olympic Games. And I'm going to put my neck on the line and say that I hope that the Bahamas can be the recipient of some of that money, $50,000. We are expecting to see the return of some of our giants in our sport. Shawnee Miller-Weibo has given a commitment to competing. Stephen Gardner has given a commitment to competing. Devin Charlton has committed to competing. And we have a cadre of athletes that will be a part of our Bahamian showcase. Now, this is a global event. So when you all see the great United States winning a lot of the medals, don't say the Bahamas ain't serious. I know that there's been a lot of talk also about the readiness of the facility. And let me tell you, we will have a state-of-the-art facility. If you see the work that's going on, you'll see that the Eastern Grandstand is completely finished. You'll see a total refurbishment of the Western Grandstand, and we'll have a brand new track surface. It will be the prototype of the world of the Olympic Games, and so athletes who will come to this event will be using new technology that would be used in Paris. And so this is exciting for us. Tickets are on sale, and let me tell you, you need to get your tickets now. All right? We have made space. You know, it's part of our legacy for the B3As. We have made it a commitment to ensure that every high school student has the opportunity to get into the games at the most affordable price. I think tickets are as low as $10 for students. And so not only are we promoting our sport, but we're also promoting everything Bahamian. And I think that the commitment of this sport should not only be by ourselves, the local organizing committee and the government of the Bahamas, but Bahamians of all kind should have the opportunity to come to this event and to celebrate what it means to be Bahamian. And I think when you are in the stands and you feel the pulse of and the energy of the people, it is really something that you have to experience. And I think that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, since it is the first edition when you will have a qualifying event that takes you straight to Paris at the Olympic Games. And so I'm inviting each and every one of you to come out. I know that Commissioner of Police said that he wants to run the ankle leg. We have a pregame show. And the law enforcement say they come in to get their things, right? So this pregame show will be an hour and 15-minute show prior to the start of the main event. And that main event, and the pregame show will comprise of the armed forces who will be a part of it. We will also have high school relays. We will also, relay event would have been invited to come to the Bahamas to sort of defend their title at the Carifta Games. And so I think that that kind of experience allows us to have, we'll also have the delight of seeing their young kids compete at this event. And once again, it's a part of the transferring of the baton from one. And I distinctly remember Jamia Nabi, who was once a little taught the Bahamas being world class. And I think that we must be on our best behavior. They say that when the world relays come to town, crime is reduced. So tell everybody come. Make your job easier, right? And so, again, I always use the expression, we're pumped up and we're excited to be hosting again and hosting the world to an event that the world says that we do it no better. No one does it better than we do in the Bahamas. And so let's live on the legacy of why they come to the Bahamas. All right, any questions?
How has been, I know the relays would have gotten a substantial sponsor with BTC. How has the response been from corporate Bahamas in terms of additional sponsorships for this upcoming?
I'm happy you talk about BTC. BTC is our title partner, and we are eternally grateful. In fact, BTC has been a part of the rich tradition of the World Relays from its inception. 2014 was the inaugural edition of the World Relays. They were the title partners then, in 15 as well as in 17, and we're proud to say that they are still faster, stronger, and more reliable. And so BTC is our partner once again. That's a plug for BTC. So BTC is with us once again, and we're hand in foot with them. We support them and they support us. They support track and field, and they support community building. And we hope that you can be a part of that building exercise with us as well.
Can we anticipate any additional sponsors coming on?
Yeah, we have, in fact, Commonwealth Brewery we're in active negotiations with Commonwealth Brewery and their brand. Bahamas Air has come on as a title partner. We're very, very happy for their generous offering, and I won't get into the details of that, but it's been handsome enough for them to be considered one of our event supporters. Of course, we will not leave the site without promoting the Bahamas, and so The Ministry of Tourism is our geographic host, and so wherever you see this event, you will see the name Bahamas attached to it. And this host broadcasting of the event will cover more than 200 countries, and we hope that our brand can reach every doorstep, not just the United States and Canada, but Nairobi and Kenya and Botswana and other parts of the world. And so this is an opportunity for the Bahamas to take center stage and to be really amazing as we move to Paris and the Olympic Games.
I know you said that ticket sales are strong, and I know that you would have noted some of our heavy hitters that will be making an appearance at this qualifying event for the Olympics. So can we anticipate any other heavy hitters? Because you know, if you're a fan of sports, you're a fan of all athletes.
Lorenzo, you always ask the tough questions, eh? No, but the registration closes on the 20th of this month. At that point, we will know all of those persons who have been entered into the event. And it's expected that, I mean, if there are only 14 seats available to qualify, and this is the qualifying event, it is expected that the best athletes in the world will be here. And we've gotten some commitments that have not been confirmed as yet, so I take caution in naming some of them. But by the 20th, you will know exactly who's coming. And let it not be too late that you hadn't gotten your tickets, because it probably will be too late.
And how many athletes can we anticipate?
Already we have a registration of in excess of 1,400 athletes and team officials. So that is the largest contribution of athletes in the history of this event. And so we're happy to report that. You always ask the tough questions. You go easy on me today, right? Well, thank you very much.
Of the Olympic Games as we prepare for the World Relays. I will now, first of all, I wanted to just add, I know that there was a lot of interest, a question about the fire in Andros, which the Commissioner quite ably answered. I just wanted to add to that, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is a big part of the oversight of that in terms of not only extinguishing the blaze, but making sure in its capacity as the primary emergency agency in the country that all matters linked to that are taken care of. As the Commissioner mentioned, 5 additional firefighters were flown into the island, but as is done in small communities, there are also water trucks that are helping to replenish the fire trucks when they run out of water to keep things going, and volunteers on the island also assisting with keeping that fire at bay. So that is just a furtherance of that. Are there any other questions I can help with?
Yes. In relation to the Andros fire or anything else? Yes, I have a question about the financial disclosure. I know the deadline you said was March 30th, but we know it was originally extended to March 15th, and the act said the deadline is March 1st. So the question is, how many extensions were granted, if they were granted?
That question is better placed with the Public Disclosure Commission, which has oversight of that. They would be able to give you full details on anything that was done regarding that.
Can you say whether the Prime Minister made the initial deadline on March 1st, or did he do anything?
It's my understanding that he did.
The March 1st deadline?
The deadline, it's my understanding that he met the deadline. Any information about the deadline, any extensions, et cetera, better placed with the Disclosure Commission.
Some residents and many in the corporate world are concerned about what many may consider to be a Grand Bahama Port Authority versus government situation. Some believing it's not a good look for the economy and could possibly decrease investor confidence in Grand Bahama. Is this a concern shared by the Office of the Prime Minister?
Well, understandably, there's a lot of interest in this conflict, the differences between the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. That is quite understandable. But as it stands, suffice it to say that the government has moved to bring resolution to this matter. For the first time in a very long time, there have been issues. As you know, the letter has been sent to the port related to the $357 million the government submits that it is owed. At the end of this month, the expectation is to hear back from the port, and that will guide what will happen going forward. I can tell you that built into the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which established the Grand Bahama Port Authority, is an arbitration process. That may be one of the routes that may be taken. Time will tell if that will be the case. But we await a response from the Grand Bahama Port Authority that will guide what will happen next. I also know that there are questions about the chronology of events which happened up to this time. That will obviously be part of any legal hearing, and that will be revealed in due course as well.
Particularly investor confidence. You know, a lot of people says the Grand Bahama economy is failing or it's at a down low. What does this say to investors, and what message would the government like to send to these investors who may look at the situation and be a bit hesitant?
Well, whether that is so is a matter of opinion. I don't think I would like to delve into that, but the Prime Minister made some remarks on that yesterday. You may want to refer to those. Any other questions? Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day, and thank you again.